Hello, my name is William Hulse, and I am going to do a video on how to change the battery out of a 2016 Thor Axis 24.1. I assume this will be the same for the Vegas, as well as pretty much any Thor Class A that has the computer station in the front. That's more or less what this is. You have to go through the front to get to the battery to have the room to pull it out. This is the chassis battery, so nothing to do with the house batteries on here. It is a little bit of a process to get to, but hoping that this video will be able to help somebody get to it. There is one YouTube video out there that shows some of this process, but I'm hoping to get a little bit more detail into this one and show you some of the things that I learned going through it and some of the tips and tricks that I've kind of figured out to keep this going forward. That way I will not have this issue anymore. So with that said, I will get started and show you what's going on. Okay, so what we have here is the standard computer desk that they build into these Thor Class A RVs. Essentially, here is the little desk piece that comes out. Here you see the little metal slide rod that comes out. Sorry, you see my little dog blanket over there too. But all you got to do to get this off, essentially you got these screws on this side. You got 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got one that they've got down here to kind of, I guess it holds, it's supposed to hold this piece down more than anything. And then you've got the same thing on the other side over here. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I do already have this up. This is actually a done process at this point. But I just kind of wanted to show you what I've seen and what I have learned. And then at the top, up here, you actually have these little pads in here. I'm sure you'll see them on yours. You just pull off the one rubber piece. And underneath here, you'll have a screw there and a screw there. And then once you have that done, you are pretty much ready to get in. So then you just pull this piece off and set it to the side. I'm just throwing it in a chair over here. And for me, currently you see I have a big hole. And where this comes from is this piece of wood was originally in here. And if you look at it, there's a little notch there, a little notch there on this side. And what you do with that is all that's really holding this piece of wood on. And then there's Velcro, what you see here, this little Velcro stuff on the side. More or less, you just cut this off with a little hand saw. You just cut through it. You probably cut through it with a good sharp knife. Basically, I could have used my own, but I did have a little hand saw cut through. But I did just cut through this felt with just a little hand knife, you know, just a little pocket knife or whatever. Very easy to get through, not much to it. And once you got this out, that is what opens up this hole. Now once you get in here, if you look back in the back right there, you can kind of see the red post of the battery. And right here is the black post of the battery. So there's your battery, and as you can see, it is pretty good and buried. This little wire right here, you will not see in there. This is something that I've added aftermarket, and I'll show that here at the end, but it's just a trickle charger wire. But really, there's not much that you got to worry about cutting through here. I will say, don't stab through. You never know. They might have a wire or something up in here, but you know, as long as you're careful and you take your knife around it slowly. When I cut through it, I didn't see anything. But these black hoses that I'm shining the light on now are basically wound all through the battery. I'm not really sure why they did that or anything. It really looks like, and from what I've read, would cause some rubbing issues, could actually rub a hole in these things. But what I did was, at the very front of the RV, and I'll try to get a picture in here and show you, you can actually get through this through your front drop-down hood. But essentially, all I did was went out there and unscrewed the little pieces that are holding the clamps on. And once I got the clamps, and you can barely see a clamp there, but you do want to do this from the front side. They just screw onto a little piece. It's just pushing air, and pretty much after you get them loosened up, you turn it and break it off the little piece, and you are able to just move these out of the way. I actually tucked them in back in this area until I got done, and as you can see, once I got completely done and got the old battery out and the new battery in, I went back over the top just so I can move them easier next time, and they, you know, aren't getting rubbed as bad right here, and they're just more out of the way, although it doesn't really look like it. And then the next thing, after you get those out of the way, if you look in the very back here, and you can barely see it, but if you look between the two black lines, you'll see a little gray screw, and I will try to get zoomed in on that a little bit. You actually do have to work it loose. It is just a little thing holding the battery in place. I will openly admit I did not get it back in good after replacing the battery, but it's in there. Not the best thing in the world, but the battery, it's so tight in there, the battery's not going anywhere anyway if you can't get it back in. And more or less with that, as you can see, the new battery that I bought does have the little hanger arm on it, so it makes it easier to pull out. The initial battery, if it's the first one, mine did not have anything on it. It was very hard to get out. Ended up having to get somebody to help me, a neighbor across the street here. And he essentially, was able to get it pushed over this way and then lift it up. And it's very tight when you start to come out the hole here. It is very, very tight, so watch your knuckles and so forth as you do that. But with two people, you can definitely get it. I would not suggest anybody try to do it by themselves. It does have some little things you can grab on the very edges, but again, it's just, you know, patience and getting it out. But it will come out. You know, you can get it done. It just takes time. You know, it's part of RV life is what I've learned to call it after being in this for about 4 months now. But so essentially, you know, then you just reverse the process. I went and got the new battery. The battery costed around $100. It's a deep cycle battery. And actually this battery came with some side bolts to it to hook up my trickle charger, because I knew I wanted to put that on it, you know, just in, you know, I want to keep my battery at full optimization going forward. I didn't want to do this again if at all possible. So, you know, I got a trickle charger and put on it. You can see the wire running here. One hooks up on each side. So I was really happy with the battery that I got. Have tested it since then. Everything seems to be working good. So didn't want to do this video until I tested it out some. And essentially what happened, so I ran that and I actually drilled a hole. So you got wood and metal right here. I drilled a hole through the wood, and I was able to run the battery cable through the wood, and then I run it straight through the side and down the edge. And here you actually see my trickle charger. So I've got it plugged in on the house battery, so now I'm keeping my batteries fresh off of the house battery. And with it being on 2 green lights, that shows me that it is now fully charged. So this trickle charger is set up to, if it's fully charged, it will not overcharge the battery. It just stays on standby until the power drops back down, then it'll kick back on. Or if the red button in the middle is on, that means there's a problem with the battery. So really, really cool charger. I paid 35 bucks for it on Amazon. If anybody's interested, I will gladly send you a link to it. And as I get more used to this, I will actually just post the link up in the video. So, and another thing I will tell you is, I know most of these things have this, the good old emergency start. I will tell you, I tried that with this when my battery went dead initially multiple times and had no luck, so I moved away from it. And that's what's got me into this process here, to just ensure I never have a problem again. And I mean, after you get that done, you get your battery back in, like I say, get the handle, drop it down, get that tie down piece in the back on as good as you can, tighten your bolt back down, run your hoses over the top. That would be my suggestion, just like this. And then, you know, if you're going to do the trickle charger thing, run your trickle charger. If you're not, then, you know, pretty much you're done. The last step in my process that I plan on doing is I'm actually going to build some hinges. I'm going to throw some hinges on here, throw something on here to keep this from falling back through, but I definitely want to put the wood back on, and put me a piece of felt over this, and then put everything, you know, back together, make this where it's just a easy open tray. You know, if I need to get back in, I can. You know, there's a lot of use for this hole, as I have come to find out. You know, people say you can actually get to your oil really easy, which you can see it here. Somewhere in this mess, they say you can get to your oil filter really easy here. I've not found that yet, but you know, I can see a lot of use for getting in here and working on stuff. But I hope this video helps somebody. If you have any questions or anything, or if you get in this situation to where you're about ready to change it out or something, and you need some help or whatever, feel free to post it below, and I will gladly try to answer your question as much as I can. Again, I'm not an RV expert and not a mechanical expert either, but I will gladly help out, all that I can. I know I'm just now getting started, so I know it's an adventure, and it's just all part of it. But I think that has everything covered, and like I say, I hope somebody finds this helpful. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Okay, so a little bit of bonus footage here. I went and got my brackets. I just wanted to show you how I put the piece back in here. So I just got a couple of brackets from Walmart, less than $5 for all this. But basically, I just mounted the flat brackets back here. I got the flat ones, so I know there wouldn't be any problem with any kind of rise up or anything pushing up on the actual shelving when I get it back in here. And then I just got a little flat piece to put on the front to keep the front of it from falling down. And when I want to raise it up, now I just quickly pull it up, and a little dark in there, but as you can see, I now have full access in there. And if I ever did need to get the battery back out, I could just pop out these 3 screws here and be right back where I was with nothing in the way. So, but hopefully with my trickle charger, I won't have to be doing that. And just wanted, like I say, just wanted to add this in and show you that little bit of bonus footage. Thank you.